All right, what I need you guys to do today, I need you to get down virtually everything I do here, and we're going to try to, again, simplifying the marketplace that we did the other day. I would like you guys to just now focus for the next week or 2 weeks, on the consumption, the demand side of the marketplace. You with me? There are some rules that apply. We'll continue to talk about those rules as we get into Monday, right? But I basically would like you to, I'm going to have you build it as I build it up here so that you guys in the end we can deconstruct it. So it's like we're going to build the house together so that when we analyze this house, we're able to deconstruct it, right? You can't analyze and you can't deconstruct a home that you didn't build first, correct? You don't know how it was built. So that's why I'm having you do it this way instead of me just lecturing at the board. So I would like you first to set up an XY axis coordinates. Okay, just like that. You can put this wherever you want. I'm going to have limited space, so then I'm going to end up erasing. But you guys maybe start at the top. You can use both sides of this. You're squeezing everything onto this and kind of have it in a way that is, I don't want to say linear, but in a way that's organized enough for you to go, oh, this went from this to this to this. Okay? I'd like you to label your 2 coordinates, price and quantity. Okay? Price, right, as would make sense, is the amount of money, okay? And quantity is just that. It's the amount or the quantity that is, in this case, demanded, all right? And maybe at the top of your notes, you could just write this in big print, demand. Okay, this is it. I'm going to erase something here. Don't worry about erasing. I'm just going to move it down. So your title for this lecture is Demand, Intro to Demand. And again, we have, if I get off the screen, tell me. Okay, price and quantity. Now, the law of demand says that as prices go up, our quantity demanded would what? Decrease. We're going to stay away from the words up and down throughout the next month and a half. You with me? Stay away from it. You'll see why soon. As prices increase, quantity demanded will decrease. As prices decrease, quantity demanded will what? Increase. Okay? So let's go ahead and set that up on an actual table, a chart. Okay? I'd like to set that up here. And it's kind of like an XY coordinate deal, but a little bit different. Okay. And what are our 2 variables here? What are our 2 axes? Price and quantity. Okay. Again, point here is that you are building it so that you can deconstruct it later. In years past, I've just gone straight to a lecture. I've given you XE, cell phones away, thank you. I've gone to XE and you're like at home trying to figure this out, and then I lecture at the board, and it's over the years I've realized like I'm talking about something that you're not doing. Make sense? And then later on I'm asking you to analyze something that you didn't build, right? So that's why we're doing it this way. Fair enough? Okay. So let's go ahead and set, let's do three different sections there. And I hope this video is working. I think it is. I think it's showing the right screen, screen 2. This part's working. Hello, people. I was doing a video for AP last year because I coach baseball, right? So I was gone. I do these videos. I can do it at my desk too. And I was playing some Tom Petty Free Fallin', you know, because it's cool. Little background music, mood music for Econ. It's cool. And then I upload it to YouTube, and I got this alert that it's like copyright infringement. I'm like, what the heck? Like, that's my material. Like, it's my lecture and it's me talking. And it was because of the Tom Petty song. like they were worried about me selling. You guys probably heard about that stuff. I was like, oh crap, I better delete the song. I wasn't trying to steal it. I was trying to set the mood for Econ. Anyway, no mood music today. All right, so let's go ahead and set a price. First off, we always want to remember what we're in the market for. So what are we in the market for? This is microeconomics. So we're talking about one thing. I don't care if it's orange juice, cars, bubble gum, mango ponds. I don't care. Grebes, widgets, whatever. Okay? So what do you want to be in the market for? Somebody pick a product. We'll talk about mango ponds later. It's as weird as you think it would be. Go ahead.
Watermelon.
Watermelon. Perfect. Okay, we're in the market for watermelon. And we are only concerned today about the demand or the consumer side of the market. Okay, that's you and I. This is going to be probably the most comfortable piece of the whole unit because you and I are consumers, right? We do it all the time. Supply side will be a little bit different. So on the demand side, let's just say this. What is, raise your hand if you would, let's do this. What are our different price values for watermelon? Let's start at the highest price you'd pay. Raise your hand. Give me a price. $15 for a watermelon. Hey, that's fine. Hey, shh, that's okay. Let's go ahead and put it down. That's what I was thinking. Wrapped in gold. $15. Okay, let's do this. At $15 a watermelon, raise your hand if you would. And this is not just an individual survey. This is going to be a market survey for our class. Individual watermelon demand survey, it would just be one person. You with me? A market demand schedule, which is what we're building here, would be everybody in the market for watermelons. Okay, so raise your hand if I don't eat watermelon. I like watermelon. I'm not a watermelon person. What? That can't be. We're depending on you. Okay, we're depending on you. I guess we can't. Hey, the guy who said $15 for watermelon said he doesn't eat watermelon, so he's kind of screwed up our whole thing here. Anyway, we'll go with it though. Raise your hand. So there's one person that doesn't eat watermelon. Okay, so you, and I'm going to go ahead. We'll leave it. You don't count, right? Remember, demand is twofold. You have to, one, desire something, and two, be able to what? Afford it. He doesn't desire it. He doesn't demand it, so we don't count you in the market survey, right? The rest of us are watermelon eaters, essentially. Okay. How many of you guys at $15 a watermelon would buy a watermelon? Raise your hand.
It's worth it.
Well, hold on. Keep your hands up, please. Perfect. Two.
It's like a mini one.
Put your hands down. Okay. We'll do this. Let's do this. Okay. All right, you ready? I don't know where you guys get your watermelons, but how many of you guys would be willing to spend $10 on a watermelon? Raise your hand. Okay, the same people that said, eyes here, the same people that said 15, you would still, and you're like, I only buy for 15, not 10. That doesn't make any sense. Okay, so you two people keep your hands up, and the rest of you who would go for 10, raise your hand, please. Keep your hands up, please. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Good. You guys are getting this down, right? In your notes? Okay, we're building this thing. All right. Now, at $5 a watermelon, still don't know where you guys shop for watermelons, but how many of you guys would be willing to pay $5 for watermelon? Same, even the 10s and the 15s. Okay, keep your hands up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Okay. What? That's true. Hey, stop for a second. He says if the demand is that high, you're actually hitting on the elasticity concept. That is, if watermelon, listen, these people must really need watermelon.
Yes.
Right? This is like, it helps me with life. That's fine. That looks like where the prices are, generally speaking. Pretty high for watermelon. So let's do this. Next thing we do is now go ahead and label our axes, right, with our numbers. Okay, so we have $5 here, we have $10 here, and we have $15 here. Go ahead and start with that. And again, this is not going to be a bunch of math. This is going to be more graphic representations of kind of simple concepts, right? That we're going to analyze graphically and kind of look at it that way. All right. Next, 2, 4, and 17. Okay, we're going to go 2, quantity of 2, quantity of 4, quantity of 17. Some of you can probably see what we're doing right now, right? You've already figured it out. Once you have it, eyes here. So let's go ahead and plot our points now. We're building a demand curve from our demand schedule. Got it? So at $15, how many watermelons? At $15, we have 2 watermelons. We're right about there. Okay? Okay? And at $10, people would be willing to buy, the quantity demanded would be 4. Okay? So watch what I'm doing here. And at $10, okay? And at $5, the quantity demanded is 17.
Do you actually want for the dots?
I do, yes. Once you've got it, go ahead and do this. Go ahead and connect them. You can make your dots bigger. My favorite trick is, my line didn't go through my dots. Guess what? Make your dots bigger. Make bigger dot. Okay, genius, yeah. Please label it demand 1. Now, you may see in a textbook someday, you may run across a thing on, if you go online, look at it, maybe a college class, what have you. You may see them start with just D or D naught, like a D little 0, right? I like to start with D1 because that's how we count. The next D curve, demand curve we have would be D2 and D3, right? I like to start with 1 all the time. So just if they start with D, I've had college professors do this. D, then D1, then D2. I'm like, or start with D naught, D0, D1. I'm like, I didn't teach my kid how to count that way. 0, 1, 2. We don't do that, right? When we start with -4 if we're doing it that way. It's weird. Go ahead.
I was going to say, why do people call 0 not?
I don't know. So we're starting with D1. Good enough? So now we have taken our demand schedule. Please go ahead and label it that. Demand schedule. And we'll call it a market demand schedule. Okay, because that's what it is. It's a market demand schedule, which means it doesn't represent one person. It represents everyone in the market for watermelons. You with me? Okay, the whole marketplace. And then we're going to go ahead and, this is already labeled, this is our graph. All right, so now what we want to do is we want to set our first law down, okay? Law of demand now. We've talked about it. We have drawn it down and drawn it out and represented in a schedule. We've now transferred it over to a graph, okay? So far, we've basically been working with the law of demand. Now we want to basically use the language. Today you're going to start learning a foreign language, okay? We're not going to, like when I say explain for the next month and a half, you're not going to be explaining like, oh, well, if demand goes up and I know, or price goes up, I know my quantity demanded is going to decrease. You're not going to write all that out. It's this simple. Here is how we're going to do it, okay? First off, if price increases, eyes here, therefore, how many of you guys knew those 3 dots meant therefore? Anybody ever seen that before? Well, it does. Therefore, we're going to see a decrease in the quantity demanded. Underline the Q there. If price goes up, quantity demanded will decrease. Have we shown that over here? As price increases, quantity demanded is decreasing or decreasing. Same thing over here on the graph. As price increases, quantity demanded is decreasing, right? And all we're doing right now, law of demand, okay, only considers a change. You may see change in like that, right? You guys seen change in little triangle? Yes? Only considers a change in current price. Law of demand. Okay. Only considers a change in current price. And we could write it the other way as well. We'll do that in a second. How are we doing on the video? Good? Sweet. I'm gonna have some coffee. Let's write it the opposite now. Law of demand still says as price decreases, therefore what? We're going to see an increase in quantity demanded. I do not care if you put the arrows before or after your variable, okay? Or your before or after price. Later on, it's going to be shifters. Okay, I don't care if the arrows before or after. This is the law of demand, guys. I do not want you to write it out longhand. I want you to learn to speak this language. Good enough? Okay. And you've got that down? Eyes up here when you're ready. What's our time looking like? Sweet. All right. Last thing for this, then I'm going to ask you to do one on your own for a couple minutes before we transition. Okay. I would like you now to write this down. Law of demand only considers a change in current price. Here's the law of demand. Here it is represented on a demand schedule, market demand schedule. Here it is represented graphically. Okay. Have we created? Is there any new curve here, or is there just one curve? Just one curve, right? And so all we're saying is, if the variable that we're looking at is price, and we'll talk about this more on Monday, everything else held constant, price is the only thing we're looking at changing, increasing or decreasing. We are moving from one part of the demand curve to another, or essentially we're sliding, okay? Okay, so we'll call this a slide. The only thing that can cause a slide along the demand curve is a change in current price. That's it. So what does a change in current price do? Cause a slide. What's a slide caused by? Change in current price. You with me? So all we're saying is we're just sliding along the curve from one point to the other. Okay? Always ask yourself this. Let's write this down too. I'm going to put it up here real quick. Question. Is the scenario, slide this over a bit. Is the scenario referring to a current change in price? If so, it's a slide. many of you guys have about half your page left? About half your page left? Enough room to work a little bit? Okay. So go ahead and do this. Let's go ahead and draw a line maybe halfway across. This is like your lecture work above, and then you're going to have your own work below. Okay. I'm going to pause the video here, and I'm going to give you a couple of minutes. I would like you to dream up a scenario. Okay. I would like you to figure out what product you're in the market for. I would like you to set up a demand schedule for that product. Okay. I would like you to then apply it to the graph, and then I'd like you to set up the law of demand, and basically just say the price of this increased or the price of this decreased. Are you with me? So that we can analyze it. So I'm going to give you a few minutes. I'm going to go ahead and pause the video. I think I'm going to pause the video. All right, we're back. Now on the back side, here's what I'd like you to do. I'd like you to write, so everything else, we're going to hit this more on Monday, okay? But everything else that we're going to look at now is going to be what we call a shifter or determinant of demand. A shifter or determinant of demand. And here's how we're going to do it. I'm going to list them out over on this side for you. Let's go ahead and just do this. Set it up, price, quantity. We'll stick to watermelons. Once you got that far, look up here. And then I would like you to, you'll hear me say it like this. Get everything set up and set D1, which means this. There it is. Okay. We'll set D1. We're not worried about the prices yet and connecting it all. Okay. This will be how we go. So there we are setting D1. Now, determinants or shifters are going to create a new demand curve altogether. Okay. The only thing that can cause a slide is a current change in what? Price. Everything else is going to either do this. It's going to increase demand, or it's going to decrease demand. See what's going on? And that is to say, after you've got those two, and we won't dot them after today. We'll actually fully draw them, okay? But that is to say, at every given price level, let's just say this price level right here, this is what demand was. And let's say it's something positive that affects demand. We say every given price level at this same price, now there's more demand, if it was that one. Or there's what? Less demand. Notice we do this like we read, from left to right. A positive shift is to the right. A negative shift is to the left. Okay? We don't say up and down. If you say demand goes up, that's going to mess us up later on. Okay? So we say an increase in demand to the right or a decrease in demand to the left. Y'all seeing that? Okay? And here are the shifters or the determinants. We're going to just list them out right here. Okay? And then we'll work with scenarios on Monday. The first one, number one, is going to be number of consumers. Gotta go quick here, about 4 minutes. The next one is going to be income which is represented by Y. Y means income when we're talking about normal goods. Okay? Normal goods, you'll see this in the lecture. Normal goods are things you'd buy more of if you had more money, and less of if you had less money. Steak would be a normal good, yes? If I had more money, would I buy more steak? Yeah, and if I had less money, would I buy less steak? Okay? Number 3 is going to be income, Y again, okay? As it pertains to what we call inferior goods. Inferior goods are goods that I would buy less of if I had more money. Ramen, yeah? And if I had less money, I would buy what? More inferior goods, okay? Number 4, there are 8 of these, by the way. Number 4, preferences. Preferences. We have, and down here we say advertisements, info, say publicity. All this sort of stuff affects our preferences, right? LeBron James says watermelons are horrible. Well, okay, LeBron James is a superstar, and so it's going to affect demand for watermelons, correct? Advertisements, info, publicity. These are the things, and we'll talk about these more. These are the things that affect our tastes and our preferences. And you could even put this, preferences and tastes. None of these are changes in price, are they? Hello. There are other outside factors, okay? Number 5, almost done. Go. Price of substitutes. I'm going to go quick. We'll talk about this later. Substitutes are things bought and used in place of one another. 6, price of complements. Things that are bought together. Oreos and milk, peanut butter and jelly. 7, EFP. This is called expected future price. And the last one, EFY. What do you think that is? What's Y mean? Expected future income. Sorry, slide this up. So expectations of the future. These are all of our shifters. Are any of these a current change in price? None of them are. Current change in price, the slider. These cause what? Shifts. Shifts. Shift happens. Got to deal with it. Okay. Bell's gonna ring. Oh, I don't think I got that last part. Here, for you guys on the video, take a look at that. Right here. Draw all of this, please. You're on the video. There it is. Pause the video and draw this. These are your shifters right here. These are not current changes in price. Therefore, they don't cause a slide. These are your shifters. All of the variables or factors that cause a change in demand altogether, which is what you see here. An increase in demand to the right or a decrease in demand to the left. 1 sec.